Good morning. How's it all happening to you people? I hope everything's going good. Everything's pretty good here in my ready little shed that I have going. Um, so basically, I'm trying to figure out what to do next here because I need to fix one of these go karts and perhaps maybe sell it. Um, this black one I had built before with a Predator, and I fucked up the tires, and I can't find that size of rim, which is I believe rim 5, anywhere around here, at least for a cheap price anyway. But I'm in love with this go kart. It actually has these U joints, fucking U joints, and drive shaft pieces from cars, and it has like precise steering, plus the hubs and the wheels. They're like really old school and just well built. But like none of the go karts I have steer like this. This doesn't have like floating little shafts like all the new go karts. If you can tell, right here it has what looks like a part of a drive shaft, and then it goes into a U joint that's made into part of the spindle, and you can replace the bearings on it. You can replace the bearings, and but they're actually really solid. All the bearings on this car. I cleaned out all the wheels and painted them that Mopar color, just because I had that spray paint laying around. And I had painted all of it and cleaned it out real good. And my nephews drove it like all summer, like since last year or something. And then it kind of just sat here. And I took the engine out of it. I took the engine out of it to put it on this other cart that I was testing. Let me show you. I put it on this cart right here, the Predator. And that is a frame from that fiberglass kit car from the 70s also. I only buy vintage go-karts, and usually what I do, I sell them to people. But it's been slow right now, and I don't know, I haven't built anything. So it's that black go-kart or this yellow one. This yellow one, I think I've explained it before, and when I was asking people who wanted to buy it or whatever, it's a Bug brand sand buggy. It has a live axle and like those huge ass tires. And the tub might look small, but that fucking tub sits an adult. It has get closer here. It has some sick like racing style pedals. They have the springs. The springs for them are all like part of the frame and stuff into the shafts, both the brake and the accelerator. Problem with this one also, it has no brakes whatsoever. Like I don't know if these have a disc brake or one of those axle drum brakes, but it has no brakes at all. But it does have a like a key, like a it's just like a regular one, like with a key lock, so I can get any drum brake from the internet or whatever. But you know, that's the only reason I took the black one apart, because I hadn't gotten the brakes for it. Now that I think about it, none of the shit here has brakes except this one, and this one works pretty goddamn good. But it's kind of boring. It's already all built and shit. You know, the video should be called "What Should I Swap This Engine to Now?" Because that's basically what I've been doing. Um, this car, I bought it for $20 and I gave it to my 4-year-old nephew as his first project. And like that engine's locked up. It sucks. It was one of those Chicago brand before Predator hit Harbor Freight, so it was pretty old. Some of you might remember those. And I had gotten it with that black cart, and it had no carburetor, and it was all fucked up. It had no spark. So I put the coil pickup, whatever bullshit. I put it from Briggs and Stratton lawnmower engine, and this carburetor, it's also from that Briggs. So you see, I left the original carburetor as a base because this new carburetor weren't bolted in, and the bolts were all long. You know, so I left it like this. This one, and I fucking covered all the holes with JB Weld, basically just making it like a throttle body spacer. And then I just added this carburetor and this throttle linkage. That's from a bicycle. And it worked good forever, and that carburetor worked sick. But then the engine locked up because I had took out the governor, and I was just ripping that shit up. And that's a pretty sad story. That's a good NGK spark plug, I think. Or no, I took out the NGK and I put a AC Delco, so it has nothing good going for it. I already used that NGK spark plug. This little muffler that I made, it's all fucking whack, but it works. Yeah, I kind of just keep it to mock up now, because it's the exact size as a Predator. It's basically the same people that were making them before, but they changed the name to Predator because, you know, they bettered the engine, I guess. But that's what I think. But yeah, it used to be the Harbor Freight 212. So it's basically a 212, 6.5 horsepower, except they call it something else. And yeah, it's pretty much dead now. It has some salvageable parts, I think. But, you know, pretty sad. I wonder what happened. I kind of wanted to open it to look inside. And I'll like crank now. I'll crank over because I got it loose, but it has like no compression. Like, so whatever was broken in there just kind of got loose and whatever. Not worth even opening it up. So, what I want to do with that one, I want to put this fucking little engine in it. I think that's what I'm going to do sometime this weekend. Just to give it to my nephew. This little engine is from that 70s vintage go-kart. And since I've been selling it for like $350, because it's worth more, I think. And nobody has bought it, so I'm just gonna fuck it. Like, just, I don't care. I'm just gonna put this engine in my nephew's. Which, it runs good, it just needs a carburetor. I need to fucking order a carburetor from eBay or something. But that's something that I'll be doing pretty soon. And then the string's all fucking jacked up. And those have rivets to be able to replace the fucking string. I really don't know. But this is another thing right here. This fucking the death trike. Kind of like, I don't know about that one. I need a fucking torque converter because those big ass tires from a golf cart, they weren't really flying and shit. Let me see. You see? I was just throwing this shit around. It's ended up breaking. I don't know what to do with it. I don't think nobody cares for fiberglass fairings on go-karts anymore. It's like some 80s shit. But they might. They might. Alright, so, man, my tires are getting jacked up. Not that they were any good, but the axle is from an 80s Kawasaki quad, or one of those shits called like a fucking, the three-wheeler trikes, I think. I'm not sure. But I bought the axle with the fucking mounting plate of the axle. But it has no brakes because those had an engine brake. So this axle's not designed to have any type of brakes, which is kind of scary. I need to figure out a way to put a fucking brake on this bitch. And then the tires are golf cart tires that I bought separately. And then this fucking whole frame with that seat belt, it's from a middle seat of a Tahoe or some shit like that I had laying around. And the bike itself is it's a Royal Enfield, which that's why I like this trike, because it kind of shows what happened to a Royal Enfield. They were bicycles and then became a motorcycle company, so now they build motorcycles. And this shit used to be a bicycle trike, and now it's a fucking motorized trike. And the front design of the fucking fork is terrible and shit. It springs and everything, and it rides good, but you can't turn for shit. It's one of those like '60s choppers where they were useless. But my whole idea was that I was gonna put rubber, like those plastic covers on the tires, so it can drift, so you wouldn't need the steering too much. But that might have just been an off idea. It's good for high speed though. I mean, I would drive it to work, and I would go like fucking 35, 40 with the Predator without the torque converter. But it would take it a lot to get out of the hole, and it would burn up, fucking make my clutch go fire red if I drove it too long. So I really needed a torque converter for it. That's all really that it's missing, but I would like to take it to a car show, like in the back of my brother's truck, the 57, when it's done, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, I don't know. Nobody has been watching my shit or commenting anything, so if you do watch it, and you should tell me which one should I do next, that yellow one, the fucking Death Strike, or that black go-kart that was in there that I showed you. Um, I kind of want to have my nephew build it himself, like I'm going to help him, but that one I'm going to just leave till then, like, it's tiny, it was 20 bills, and it's just straight 60s one, that's why I think it's wonderful to give it to him at 4. When he's like about 6 or 7, he'll be done building it. He can ride that shit.